Hey everybody, it's Master Galengeist here, bringing you my review for the anime Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. And I enjoyed this anime. It's interesting because I enjoyed Fate Zero, and I had some issues with that one, and then I watched this one, and I kind of had the opposite issues, where I believe that Fate Zero had the stronger kind of constructed story. This one had better kind of implementations of moments of levity and like humor because they balanced it out more with having two of their protagonists still in high school and led it to being kind of a more balanced kind of approach. There was still the seriousness of what was going on with a new Holy Grail war going on 10 years after the fourth one, which was in Fate Zero. And I think that kind of sacrificed certain elements because the story, while good, left some elements that I believe could have been better done. So we're following the kind of offspring of certain people from the Fourth Holy Grail War. We're following Shiro Emiya, which was a child that was rescued from the disastrous effects at the end of Fate Zero by Kiritsugu Emiya, and he's kind of not really that much of a mage. He was only taught certain things, and he's an interesting character. His ideals mainly get like trying to save everyone and make a world where people don't cry. And while that's a good aim, as we get through the series, it's not as clearly presented if he understands what kind of world that would be. And of course, we're then balanced out with Rin Tosaka, who is the daughter of the Tosaka head that was in the previous one, and she's pretty cool. She's the kind of like high-strung mage who thinks she's always right and trying to do everything to kind of win and all that, but she kind of gets balanced out by Shiro as she tries to balance him out, and that he always puts everybody else before himself and trying to help people. So, of course, they're drawn into a new Holy Grail war, and of course it's done with, like, Kire Kotomine is the overseer because he had gotten a turn being a villain kind of because he went into such a villainous route towards the end of Fate Zero that I was really interested to see what was going on with him in this, and it really didn't go much anywhere. Same with him in Gilgamesh. Now, I wanted to keep that one as Fate Zero spoiler free as possible because knowing certain things ahead of time will kind of like, I don't know. I try and make sure that if there's surprises that you can see them, not see them, but like you see them the first time when you're watching, you're like, oh, that's cool because I don't really like to affect those kind of impacts. But in here, I don't believe that these will truly impact it because these have repercussions on my views and my opinions of what's going on. Because I came in this going, oh man, Kira Kotomine is going to be one interesting villain. I'm going to really see what's going on, and nothing really comes from him. We're led to believe that he has no heartbeat, that he's kind of like, I'd almost assumed that him and Gilgamesh should pretty much switch roles and that Gilgamesh would possibly have been the master to him and him be the servant. But that doesn't work out, and even though they're manipulating to make the new Grail because Gilgamesh wants to pretty much wipe out all humans essentially, or thin the population and do a trial by fire, strongest survives kind of thing. It kind of went into a more kind of like traditional kind of villain plot towards the end, which I'm like, okay, it's not a bad one, but it could have been done and conveyed in a little bit of a better manner. It's like, okay, I didn't think we were going that way, but alright. Because you see it getting kind of set up. We see Shiro kind of having to deal with the child that Kiritsugu and the homunculus that was in the Einsburns. I was wondering if there's going to be something done with her. And of course, her plot leaves nowhere. And it's like, okay. And the main focus turned out to be Rin and her familiar, Archer, being Archer is the heroic spirit that Shiro Emiya could possibly become because he had made a deal with the Grail to be the guardian of the world. And he tried to make a world where people didn't cry and all that, and it turned him into a dickhead. Now, granted, I understand that he's not completely dickhead, but I'm just kind of like showing that like he wants to kill his past self to stop it, And it's just like, okay, it just entered an element of like time travel and stuff like that, and just like fate kind of weirdness that kind of just complicated the matter and just kind of came out of left field. Now, granted, I understand that the series has fate in the title, but it's more like, what? And as we get to the end, we see that they have like defeated the whole Holy Grail thing, kind of stopped it from doing its thing because it had been corrupted and was like pretty much trying to kill everybody at that point. And we see that Shiro and Ran become boyfriend and girlfriend, and the biggest issue that had become with Archer is that he was left alone and nobody to support him, and Ran said that she would always be there to support him. It's kind of alluded to at the end that Shiro gets to a point that was similar to where Archer was, but he goes beyond Archer and doesn't really become him. But it's not as well shown and stated. I mean, Archer kind of flows out of the kind of unlimited blade works because we find out that, like, in his attempts to kind of copy Archer, he was essentially becoming him. And it just gets into that chicken egg scenario that's kind of like, what? It's not bad, but it again gets down to execution. The execution of it was not the best. Did it completely turn it to shit? No. I still believe that they do a great job of developing the characters and developing their stories to a less, mainly with like Shiro and Saber and Rin and Archer, and that's about it. The rest of them with like the writer and, well, Castor was done a good job of being characterized as well, but then, and this didn't do a good job of balancing all the familiars and the mages as they did in Fate Zero. We do get that character development, but just kind of like condensed to only a certain amount of players, and in certain instances, they kind of cut off avenues for kind of decisions that I'd be like, you could have went into other different ways, but I wasn't completely like, oh, this is crap or whatnot. I still enjoyed my time watching it, and I would still recommend it to people that want, of course, a serious anime about like magic and like the fighting and everything going on. Now kind of more balanced out with the humor. But I don't know if the ending is going to be as satisfying as it was in like Fate Zero. Because, oh, that's a pretty cool ending. Here, it's more like, I don't need a completely clear-cut answer, but when you show things and it's not, you don't convey the point that you're trying to make, it's kind of like, what? Okay. And I wish, and there were some little kind of cool callbacks, seeing the one mage in the like magic school who used to be the mage that was the one to the writer in Fate Zero was kind of cool, but I didn't know that until I looked it up. I'm like, okay. So overall, they do some good character development with their characters. They have interesting plots and machinations that are going through. It's the typical of the kind of Fate franchise, though I don't believe it is as high as Fate Zero, but I like that they balanced out more humor and did kind of more kind of high school stuff with the high school kids to just kind of like balance out the seriousness and not making it completely like a high school comedy. And they still did have really good fight scenes, especially when they've got the Berserker against Gilgamesh. That's a pretty cool fight scene. And just seeing them all kind of like do it. They do, of course, a great job balancing the CGI and the 2D drawings again in this. And if you're really into that and don't mind some kind of weirdness going into it with like that, not everything is completely clear, or it's like, well, they could have done it a little bit better, then I would definitely recommend this anime to you. So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.